Hey, what up, everybody? Stephen Breach coming to you today, making a little video. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena right up around the corner. That's the big one. Well, I would lie to you and say that's the reason why I'm going to SummerSlam, but we bought our tickets for SummerSlam, I think, back before WrestleMania. I think it was either in March or April, and we had no clue what was going down. We didn't even know Brock Lesnar was going to beat the streak, let alone be the guy going up against John Cena for the WWE Championship. But that's the reason why I'm glad I'm going. A great undercard. I'm really pumped. A lot more than I would like to admit. I'm glad that this is the main event, but if there was no Cena versus Lesnar, I'd be glad that I was going SummerSlam just for Brie versus Stephanie. The hype that match has gotten has really pushed it over the top to make it a match that I think a lot of people really care about. Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton could be one of those matches that I think people are talking about for a long period of time, and this show really does have a great show top to bottom. I think of all the matches on the card, only one of them to me is a throwaway match. But Cena versus Lesnar, it's just crazy to me, the way that they've, hyped up Lesnar, making him look like he's the biggest deal ever since he came to WWE. They're finally going to be putting him in that main event slot where he is going after the WWE Championship. We've already seen him come after the biggest dogs of the pack. We've seen him fight John Cena. We've seen him fight CM Punk, Triple H. We saw him face Undertaker for the streak at WrestleMania. And it seems to me that they are really going to try and put the belt onto Brock Lesnar and see how long they can take it. A lot of people think that I think everybody thinks he's going to win the title. I think that when I'm at SummerSlam, I will be rooting for John Cena to get the win, but deep down in my heart, I know that Brock's going to win. There's some people who think that he's going to lose the title at Night of Champions, and there's some people who think that he's going to hold the title all the way until WrestleMania. And there's some people that say that, Vince is going to have him, win the title, and it's just sort of going to be day to day to see how business is going. And, if business starts to, take a shit dive because Brock isn't doing house shows, isn't doing Monday Night Raws, isn't even doing all the pay-per-views, that's when they will plan on taking the title off of Brock. But I think it is trying to see how long they can keep it there, wondering if they can do Brock versus Rock, Brock versus Roman, Brock versus Cena again. One way or another, they're going to have a good match at WrestleMania, and hopefully that title's going to be there. Well, I don't even know what the fuck happened there. My apologies. But, when you look at big guys in WWE, everybody always looks at, Vince McMahon as being one of the guys who really books these guys the best. You can go back and the Hogan and versus Andre feud was built around Andre being in the WWF with Vince McMahon for years and years. They presented him with that trophy for being like 13 years undefeated. And basically his trophy was this big. And then Hulk Hogan got the Wrestler of the Year, and his trophy was 6 feet tall. And Andre sort of looked at that trophy, looked at Hogan's trophy, and you could tell that he really felt like he took a back seat to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan had never given him a title shot. And that was the building blocks to one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, with Hogan signing with Bobby Heenan. And, with that, it just sort of, there it was, the building blocks for one of the biggest manias of all time. I look at big guys and with Vince, and Vince has tried his best. Vince had always said that, if Paul White, if the Big Show or the Giant had been a guy who signed with the WWF at the time, he would have been a much bigger star. But if you look at Big Show now, even guys like Kane, I think what hurts the WWF today is that, you have Monday Night Raw, you have SmackDown, you have Main Event, you have live shows, you've got so many shows to put these guys on. Back in the day, there would only be primetime wrestling, and you'd have Andre go out there and he'd wrestle a squash match against somebody, and you'd have a year-long build of squash matches of, maybe they drop their name in an interview, maybe, Jesse Ventura or, Bobby the Brain Heenan would drop on, what if Hogan was to face this guy? Remember, like, when Undertaker first came in, you really didn't see Undertaker fight anybody unless it was on a big pay-per-view, unless he was, fighting somebody in a squash match on Superstars. And, you would get that slight build from the heel announcer. Like, this guy's really good. What if he got in there with Hogan? And then it got into your mind like, oh, fuck, Hogan's screwed if he fights this guy. Hogan might be able to beat whoever he's fighting at, SummerSlam. But there's no way in the world he can beat The Undertaker. So Undertaker came in, Survivor Series 90, built all the way to Survivor Series 1991. Undertaker became the number one contender, and he beat Hogan. for the championship, and that was just because there wasn't as much TV now. I know Brock Lesnar is sort of built into that, where he's not been on all the shows. He shows up for a few Raws before a fight, fights at WrestleMania, he fights at SummerSlam. We saw him fight at Extreme Rules a few times. So we're going to have to see where this goes. But I know there's a lot of people complaining out there. I know it's not going to be the end of the world if Brock Lesnar is the champion. He comes and he doesn't come to your town for a house show. I have tickets to a house show the week after SummerSlam. It's going to be in Stockton on a Friday night. I think that the main event looks like it's going to be John Cena versus Corporate Kane. I'm not the biggest Corporate Kane fan, but I know that going there I'm going to have a ton of fun. Let my hair down, but I'm pumped. Cena versus Lesnar. Let's see what happens. I think everybody's got their money on Lesnar to win this one. But come on, Cena. You've got to take him down.